Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. Hope you guys are doing well. The week has closed for pretty much the month of September, actually, and Q3. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But I'm not going to get into a whole lot of details because I am traveling. I'm actually at my cousin's house, and they're letting me use their computer while I'm house sitting for them so that I can do a little bit of video stuff. But so I don't have access to editing software. So I'm going to just go straight through with this and see how clean I can do it on one run, pretty much. So let's just kind of talk about some things. So I haven't made one of these videos since last Wednesday. I forget what day that was, whatever day that was, the 21st, which I believe was, this long bar, red candle down. We kind of just broke down to this little sideways pattern that we had. And then I basically kind of mentioned, hey, we're just going to like beeline it right down here into this blue box zone. We got down there Friday. I was out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Trade executed, closed the bearish position, and basically just chopped around in here for 4 days. And then we broke down today. Okay. So we'll get into a little bit of that as to what I'm kind of thinking is going to go on because I kind of didn't see that coming at the end of day today. Okay. So let's go intraday, 15-minute, and just kind of look back at the past few days. Obviously, pretty choppy. Really, the stock market wasn't a big swinger. I mean, it was definitely trading within this zone here, but a lot of the news wasn't really coming from the stock market. A lot of it was coming from currencies. Other central banks around the world were making big-time headlines over the past week and a half. So we saw some pretty big news just kind of coming out in those fronts. So it's definitely a tough time to be out there trying to really do much because we're also, we are seeing that overnight news headlines kind of just change the trajectory. We saw this past Wednesday, we saw a nice rally, and then, Thursday gap down and completely took that out in the first 45 minutes. So it was pretty tough. I kind of was talking with a buddy after we saw Wednesday come in. I was like, yeah, this might be the start of that little retest I was kind of talking about, potentially up to 380 to 390, somewhere up in there. And, after Thursday's candle sell down, not looking too good. And then today, we were strong early in the day. Then we just kind of, traded down, kept breaking down. The last 15 minutes just fell off the cliff. But there's probably going to be two really good scenarios that kind of come out of this. What I'm really looking for, is one, as we kind of got this breakdown today, you also notice how much volume we have come in today. We had quite a bit of volume. It was the last day of the quarter. Typically, the last days of the quarter, they get a little squirrely because you get a lot of big-time funds that they got to put out statements, to their investors and stuff, what they're allocated to for the quarter and stuff like that, what their quarterly allocations are, quarterly statements. So you do get a little squirrely on days like this. So the end-of-day little sell-down might have just been a one-off. So really watch out for early this next week. We could potentially gap up or move up pretty quickly and start to retest a little bit. But if we do hold this low here and we do trade down, that was kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for a break through this zone. I did mention that last week. I wanted to break through this zone. So if this is it and we are getting it, I want to see a follow through on Monday, Tuesday. Probably trade down to at least 350 and then a trade back up into this zone, possibly higher on a retest, and then probably look to take some of these back bearish, some of those levels. That's what I would be looking for. If on Monday, Tuesday, we just kind of, Friday was just overdone on selling, we come back out. October's new month, new quarter, people just start buying it up, and we get the retest, then I would be looking to do it, up at these levels, that kind of thing. And then that's where I'd be looking to be bearish. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for whatever retest we kind of get on the market in October. I'm going to be looking to be bearish on that. Probably go back into the same position I had before July 23 options, or June 23 options, not July. So that's what I'll be looking for. And that'd be kind of my game plan. But we'll just kind of quickly go through some of how things are looking. And that's the SPY, obviously, the Qs. Same kind of deal. It broke down. It finally made a new yearly low yesterday on Thursday. And then Friday, obviously, with the SPY, broke down pretty good. We'll take a quick look at Apple. Apple was Wednesday. I was driving, and crazy news about them not increasing production for their new iPhone 14. And then Thursday, they got downgraded. And you see all the bullish volume that they got come in after this little sideways consolidation area. So once it broke that bullish volume again, there was no one left to buy. And that's why you saw Thursday Apple just get crushed. And that continued into today. Apple was one of the main laggers on Friday. So Apple is probably still going to make a run down to the 134 area at least. Makes a lot of sense. I was kind of talking about that before, that if it breaks through the zone, which was basically like this previous little pivot point that it had at late May, early June, that you probably just see it just roll over, probably down to that 134 area. Makes a lot of sense. Had a little pivot here, had a little pivot back over here. So it just kind of makes sense. And after that, it'll probably get pretty choppy. But I'd imagine this thing keeps breaking down, at least for now with the market. I'll go into a little bit more detailed analysis on Apple here over the next few weeks. But right now, I think once it gets to 134, I'll be closing some bearish positions on it. So let's talk about the dollar. The dollar obviously was breaking out really strong last 2 weeks. Man, it's just, look at that, just taking off. A lot of the currencies, man, if you track currencies, they've been crazy volatile, like historical volatile. Not like, okay, like 10-year volatility levels. No, we're talking crazy high volatility, like never before seen before volatility levels. So there's going to be a lot more that comes out of that hits the stock market, because the currency markets, to move like that, the currency markets are much larger than the stock market. So we're definitely going to have to keep our eye on some of these currencies and some of the volatility swings that they're having. But the dollar, I was talking about it past couple days, earlier this week on the live stream. With this move up, just look for it to retest back into this low or this previous high that it had around the 110, 111 type area, and probably just continue to push higher. That's what I'd be looking for. Just look for it to continue to probably come back down. And since I think a lot of these things that we're going to look at here are kind of overextended in the bearish direction for the stock market. So as they kind of come back and retest in some areas, in some ways, I think that'll give the stock market a little bit of a bullish push. Get the stock market have a little bit of a bullish retest. Okay. TNX, the rates, kind of the same thing. They've been on pretty good run. Started a little bit of a pullback here. Probably comes back to the 350 area and probably continues to push higher. We'll just have to wait and see. If we look at the U.S. 2-year yields, same kind of thing. The 2-year, even more strong over the past several weeks. Just grinding higher. Nice little retest into the 10 exponential moving average. My guess is this will probably not hold. Probably just break down, come a little bit lower before we probably continue to push higher. But the fact that the 2-year yield is over 4% is pretty impressive. So definitely going to be something to keep your eye on. I would imagine rates could probably come back a little bit before they push higher, which kind of lets the stock market go in a bullish direction, at least here over the near term. But it doesn't have to do that. That's why I'm kind of just hands off a little bit for now. Gold with the dollar, seeing a little bit of weakness here recently. Started having a little bit bullish action. Probably doesn't hold. That's why I think the dollar will probably keep going higher. Gold's broke down, probably keeps going down for GLD and gold as well. HYG. Okay, so this is one that we were talking about Thursday and Friday on the live stream that the HYG has been leading typically on these pivots compared to the SPY and making the new direction or starting that new direction, right? So if we look at the SPY and we compare that to the HYG, you see the SPY continues to break down and the HYG hasn't here recently, okay? And if we look at like this pattern back on September 1st, September 2nd, the HYG here did not make a new low, but the SPY right here over these 3 days, it did make a new low, okay? So watch the HYG. If it stops breaking down, it starts turning a little bit more bullish. It's been popping here recently. You know, popped pretty good on Wednesday, held up a little bit better on Thursday. Friday was stronger earlier in the day. Definitely got caught up in the sell-off a little bit later in the day. But, yeah, watch this sucker. If this thing starts to continue to push in the bullish direction, it might give you a little bit better indication of what the SPY is going to do as well. So definitely something to watch out for, as it did not make a new low compared to the SPY over that Thursday, Friday time frame. So that's really about all I wanted to share with you. That's, we're kind of making our way through this zone. Those are going to be the two kind of scenarios I'm going to watch for to see if we break down or if this was kind of just an end of quarter fluke, high volume coming in. Maybe Monday, Tuesday, we kind of reverse out of this, pop bullish. We'll see. We'll see what kind of happens over this next week. But I have no interest to be in any kind of position right now. I'll let this thing break down, and any whatever retest we get, I'll look to reposition at that point in time. Okay? So, Alpha Hunters, y'all have a great weekend, and stay safe out there if you're on the East Coast with that hurricane stuff. Okay? Stay safe.